Over time, I've found ways to get more out of my total gym. In this video, I'm going to show you how I do more effective chest presses. I hope you'll find it useful as well. So here I am at the highest level of the machine, doing chest presses the way Total Gym recommends that you do them, using the pulley cables. But what I wanted to do was get more resistance, which I could do by adding weights, but I also wanted to get better form. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So when you take a look at the Total Gym exercise resistance chart, you'll see that over here, I weigh approximately 210 pounds. And if you do the exercise at level 6, you'll see that I should be getting 101 pounds of resistance. But if you look down here, you'll notice that it says, when figuring exercises that incorporate the pulley cables, use 50% of the charted numbers. So when I'm doing this exercise, I'm only actually getting roughly 50 pounds of resistance. But by using direct resistance, by removing the pulley cables and attaching cables to something else, and I'm actually getting 101 pounds of resistance. The first thing I do is I release the pulley cables. Once released, make sure to place the pulley cables on the back side of the riser. So in order to get a more effective chest press, instead of using the cables attached to the Total Gym, I actually use a second set of cables that I attach to a Titan rack, and I just call this direct resistance, but that's what gives me a more effective chest press. Now, as I mentioned, I'm using a Titan rack, and I put eye screws or eye bolts through different levels of the Titan rack to adjust the different heights for different exercises and so forth. But you don't have to get a Titan rack to do this. You can actually just put eye bolts or eye screws into a wall. So you can see right here, I've got some eye screws that are attached to my wall. I've actually placed wood on the wall, and then that way I can put them wherever I want to, but you can also go directly into wall studs. That's critical. If you're going to use a wall, you absolutely have to put these into wall studs. You cannot just put them into drywall. If you use a Titan rack, make sure that you put a 2x4 or something across the Titan rack to keep the Total Gym from moving. If you're going to use a wall, simply just place the Total Gym up against the wall. That keeps it stationary, because when you're in standalone mode and you're using the cable pulleys, everything is attached to the Total Gym and it's not going to move anymore. Once you remove those pulleys and you start doing an exercise, from the Titan rack or from the wall, you got to make sure that the Total Gym is stationary. Now, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to get better form. If you recall, in the exercise, the way that Total Gym describes for you to do it using the pulley cables, your resistance comes from the level of the seat. That's where the cable is attached to the frame. But when using direct resistance, you can adjust the height of the cables anywhere you want to and actually make it come in line with the chest. So if you take a look at this, you can see that the cable is actually in line with the level of my chest because it's at the same angle or a close enough angle to that of the rail. Okay, also notice that when I was doing the exercise the way Total Gym had suggested that I do it, I was doing it in a seated position. That's because the resistance was coming from the level of the seat. Now that I've got the cables raised and I'm using direct resistance, I do this exercise in a kneeling position. That gives me significantly more leverage. If you've liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. If you've got an interesting or unique way of using your Total Gym, please be sure to mention it in the comments, and I'll see if I can do a video about it. If you're interested in any of the products in the video, whether it's the Total Gym, the Titan Rack, the cables, the handles, etc., please go ahead and check the information below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.